Kalyani, shall we start the session? My humble request for you guys, switch on the camera. What time generally you start? They said 10 o'clock, so I'm waiting like when to start all your sessions. What time you
Just,
start generally?
just 2 minutes, ma'am. 2 minutes
Yeah.
more.
Oh. Hi, Monica, Suzanne. Who else switched on? Ashish. Hi. From where you're doing? Suzanne, Monica, from which place?
Ma'am, I'm from Kerala, ma'am.
Kerala. Okay. Monica, you?
Nashik, ma'am. Um, okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm from
Ashish, you're
Maharashtra,
doing
ma'am.
from where? Hi, Nitin.
University, Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Nice.
मुझे थोड़ा एक्सपोज करना चाहिए।
Are you guys ready for practical session? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Yes? Good. Still people are joining. I think we have to wait. A little fellow has joined. Hi. What's her name?
My name is Jai Shankar Narayana.
Hi, Jai Shankar. You want to do yoga? What do you want to do? Surya Namaskar, or what do you want to do?
A very good morning to one and all.
Good
I
morning.
request everybody to mute yourself. All the participants. Once again, a very good morning to all the participants. Welcome to day 3 of Faculty Development Program on Organizational Behavior, organized by Department of Business Management, Mahatma Gandhi University, Nalgonda. I am IR Kalyani, Research Scholar from Department of Business Management. Today, session 1 is about yoga and meditation by Ms. Katyayani Reddy, IIT Madras. Session 2 will be about leadership styles, mantra for success by Dr. Chetan Srivastava, Associate Professor, School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad. Session 3 is about conflict management, nurturing organizational culture, again by Dr. Chetan Srivastava. Now let me introduce session 1 resource person, Ms. Katyayani Reddy. She is a yoga instructor at IIT Madras since 2011. Her trainees include faculty, students, and other staff at IIT. She also is a yoga trainer at Sivananda Center, Thiruvanmayur since 2008. Key instructor at 136.1 Yoga Studio and Monad Yoga Studio. She is experienced in designing and delivery of customized yoga programs, including those of therapy, pregnancy, kids, beginners, and open classes. She is a qualified yoga teacher under the scheme of voluntary certification of yoga professionals launched by Ministry of Ayush in 2017. She has done teacher training course from Shivananda Yoga Center, Uttarkashi, India in 2007, which is a certified worldwide yoga alliance for the 200 hours standard for registered yoga schools. She has also done advanced teacher training course from Shivananda Yoga Vedanta Center, Madurai, 2008, which is a certified by the Worldwide Yoga Alliance for 500 hours standard for registered yoga schools. Her academic qualifications includes BSc Science from Kakatiya University, Telangana, and MSc Yoga from Annamalai University, Tamil Nadu. She is fluent in English and Telugu languages. I once again welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank
Over
you.
to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Guys, can you hear me? Please switch on the camera. At least some of you switch on the camera so that if everybody switch off the camera, it's like teaching to a blind, you know. I don't enjoy. Like if I switch off the camera, you don't enjoy, right? Same thing happens with me also. Please switch on the camera. I want to see like, who are all doing. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to teach you. So I'm basically teach Shivananda Yoga. I'm someone who used to hate yoga. Now I'm teaching yoga. Okay, I used to think yoga is only for old people. So unless I got some health issues, I never took yoga seriously. So I couldn't conceive for the second child. Then I was doing yoga, but mechanically, I was not focusing and all. Only when I got some health issues, then I took yoga seriously. Then I wanted to, like, learn more deep what it is, like, once I have come out of my health issues. Then I found, like, I was going to Shivananda Center. I'm based in Chennai. The Shivananda Center is close to my house, just 5 minutes from my house. So the first time I discovered my guru, Swami Shivananda. So I'll just show you. Can you see the picture? You want me to come closer? Later, you can check in the Google. He is Swami Shivananda. He is Swami Vishnu Devananda. I am very much impressed after knowing about this guru, Swami Shivananda. Himself, he was a medical doctor. He is based in Tamil Nadu. He studied from Tanjore Medical College. He belongs to 18th century. Okay, so when he was after he finished his MBBS, he went to Malaysia to teach to treat people from rubber factory. Indians are working there in Malaysia in a rubber factory. There he was working with those people. Then he realized like a lot of people are suffering more than these physical elements. Most of the health issues are psychosomatic. So he met one like monk there. So through him, he got the knowledge of this meditation, yoga. So he wanted to explore more of this subject. So he left his medicine, left his practice. He came back to India and he traveled all over the India. He met his guru just for 15 minutes. Okay. He also met Ramana Maharshi and all. So through his guru, just 15 minutes, like he got all the knowledge from his previous life and all. Then he was based in Rishikesh. Okay. Then he started teaching yoga, meditation. A lot of people attracted to him. So he was giving initiation as a sannyasa, and he wrote also a lot of books about Ayurveda and all. So this is a small introduction about Swami Shivananda. He was the greatest saint of this 21st century. So what I realized, there is no yoga guru like, qualified as Swami Shivananda. Being a medical doctor, why is into all this? That was my first thing which I attracted to him. Why he's into yoga, meditation, Ayurveda. Then one day when I was practicing in this Shivananda Center, yoga in Himalayas. So I wanted to experience how this Himalayas and all. I went for my teacher training. For my surprise, I was the only Indian in the training. 29 people came from different countries and they're learning our culture, Bhagavad Gita, everything. Like, they are working hard to learn our culture. So that there I had an eye-opening experience. Actually, first time I went there, I started learning the slokas, learning about Bhagavad Gita. Then I thought, okay, I'll come back and I teach for my son at least. Then after, when I was teaching to my son, the first person who came to me and asked me to teach yoga is a doctor, a medical doctor who stays in my apartment. She asked me to teach yoga. She had some breathing issues. She didn't tell me. So I was trying to teach her, nothing is working. Okay, then she told me she has asthma from childhood. Then I started, reading how to work with an asthma student. Like, being a medical doctor, I had a tough time to convince her to get into all these things. She was so reluctant. She said she's not going to do this asanas and all. She want to learn only pranayama. Already she had this breathing issues. I couldn't teach her how to do pranayama. So I have to convince her when I asked her to do some Surya Namaskar. With great difficulty, she agreed to do Surya Namaskar and all. After 3 months, she started seeing the changes, Then she said, okay, she will try asanas also. Then slowly, I think we took 1 year to see some changes. Then she said, like one day she came and she told me, like she's able to breathe now better. She's able to sleep in the AC. So I was surprised when a doctor is going through so much, like, I've seen that result. Then I felt like when I can help to a doctor, I can help to a normal people. So by accident, I have come into this line. Okay, still like it's almost 15, 16 years. Whoever comes to me, ask me, like, through mode of work, it's just spreading. That's how I'm just teaching, like, every day. Like my on now in this pandemic, I started teaching through online. So in yoga, theory doesn't work. Okay, it's 99% your practice. Okay, the more and more when you practice, you see the changes. At least 1, 2 years you have to practice. Then what it does, it makes you physically, mentally very, very strong. So what is yoga? Simple. In my experience, yoga is your self discipline. Okay, every day coming onto the mat. Okay, that is what is your self discipline. Once you bring this self discipline into your life, it makes you physically, mentally very, very strong. You take life as it comes. That is what it taught me. So no tension. You lead a peaceful life without any tension, without any stress. You take the life as it comes. That is what is yoga. Okay. Uh, uh, so what is this Shivananda yoga? It's a beautiful sequence. I've done all the styles, but I very much impressed with this sequence. Okay, it has a beautiful meaning. Swamiji, a medical doctor, he did this. He took the sequence directly from the scriptures. Okay, this is a traditional way of doing your practice. Maybe we can't do full thing in one session. I'll just give the introduction, then later you check so why you have to do this thing and all, then you will get some idea. So I told you yoga is your self discipline. Okay, so what Swami Shivananda did, whole yoga he synthesized into 5 basic principles. Okay, whole yoga, like what you have to follow in your day to day life. You have to follow 5 basic principles, that is proper exercise, proper breathing, proper relaxation, then proper diet, then positive thinking and meditation. Today, they asked me to teach meditation also. Okay, this is the groundwork for the meditation. Okay, you have to do proper exercise, proper breathing, proper relaxation, proper diet, and positive thinking. So when you follow these 5 basic principles every day, then you're ready for meditation. This is the groundwork. So what we do in proper exercise, we do asanas. Asanas. I'll show you a practical session. What is asana? So we do asanas through proper exercise. Proper breathing. What is proper breathing? We do through pranayama. So proper relaxation. What is proper relaxation? Shavasana. Okay. We do proper relaxation through Shavasana. Then comes proper diet. What is proper diet? Why so much emphasis in yoga? Why this proper diet? Everything little, I'll just give you the introduction. Then positive thinking. Why? How the positive thinking comes when you are meditating. Most of the people, what they do, they force the mind to be positive, positive. That doesn't happen like that. So what you have to do, I'll get you the practical session. So last is meditation. So proper exercise through asanas, proper relaxation through pranayama, proper breathing through pranayama, proper relaxation through shavasana, proper diet through sattvic food, then positive thinking and meditation. Okay, so just introduction to this beautiful sequence. So generally we start the session with breathing practice. So there is a Kapal Bhati, you would have heard the name, like, Ramdev Baba keep doing that. That is called Kapalbhati. Okay, then we do alternative nostril breathing. Okay, then comes the Surya Namaskar. Can you see the chart, or you want me to come closer? Is it clear? Can you see the chart?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we do a Surya Namaskar. Okay, Surya Namaskar is a warm up in yoga. Okay, so according to yoga, our health depends on the flexibility of the spine. Okay, the more you increase the flexibility of the spine, that gives you a good, perfect health. That's how all the asanas are based on the flexibility of the spine. All the five movements with the spine, asanas are based on the spine movements. Okay, first they do Surya Namaskar. So this will prepare you for the asanas. It's a warm up, it's a cardio workout. Okay, so there are 12 positions here. This is doing Surya Namaskar is our gratitude for the sun god. All these 12 positions, it's a combination of one forward bend, one backward bend. Okay, so all the 12 positions takes care of your spine. So remember, if you want your health to be in good condition, you have to increase the flexibility of the spine. See a 5-year-old child, where the difference between them and with us is the flexibility of the spine. The more you increase the flexibility of your spine, your mind also becomes very, very flexible, so that you learn things as they come without any stress. See a 5-year-old child, they don't know about this stress. There is no BP, there is no sugar for them, right? They are quite flexible. They learn, adapt to things as they come. So there's a beautiful sequence here. Generally, the sequence starts with headstand, then shoulder stand, then halasana. There are Sanskrit names. Okay, the reason for doing this sequence, you have any idea how many asanas are there? There are 84 lakhs of asanas are there. Okay, in that, Swamiji has took 12 asanas. This is what we practice in our day-to-day classes. So it starts with headstand, this 12 asanas. You can also check that Shivananda basic sequence, you Google and you get this sequence, okay? The reason for the sequence, okay, it on a physical level, it works with the endocrine system. When you do headstand, it takes care of your pituitary gland. When you do shoulder stand, it takes care of your thyroid and parathyroid glands. When you do halasana, again, thyroid and parathyroid gland. When you do forward bends, it takes care of your pancreas. When you do backward bends, it takes care of your adrenal glands and the reproductive glands. If you see, all our health issues are hormonal imbalance. Yes or no? Do you agree? If you see thyroid, if you see diabetes, if you see PCOD, all these lifestyle disorders are basically hormonal imbalance, right? So what Swamiji said, if you practice this sequence regularly, okay, for 1-2 years, I've seen practically some of them could stop their BP medicine, they could stop their thyroid medicine, but you have to practice very regularly. Okay, so allopathy medicine, what it does, it will treat what allopathy does, it will treat you the symptoms. If you get thyroid, if you get BP, what do they say? You have to use the medicine for lifelong. But asanas are not like that. If you practice for at least 2 years, you can stop that medicine. They remove the root cause of the disease. Okay, that's how they'll help you. It's a slow process, but long lasting process. Got it? So this is the small introduction about asanas. So why this sequence? Why yogis have discovered this sequence? Because when you practice this sequence systematically, you'll understand the creation. Why yogis discovered all these things for the spiritual knowledge. Okay, they don't want to go through this birth and death cycle. Okay, so what they used to see life as a triangle. First birth, then growth, then death. So that's how they used to see whole life as a triangle. So they don't want to go through this birth and death cycles again and again. So what is the growth period generally in human beings? Up to 18 to 20 years, right? So after 30, 35, what happens? Every day, millions of cells starts decaying. Okay, what yogis discovered, through this practice, you can slow down that decaying process. Okay. And they don't want to live this life with disease and suffering. So they want to slow down the decaying process, and they want to be healthy. For that spiritual investigation, they wanted to have a perfect health and body and mind. Okay, to know the purpose of life, they invented all these things. Okay, to do meditation. So if you want to do a meditation, when you want to sit for some time, your body should be without aches and pains. When you have a knee pain, when you have a back pain, when you have this neck pain, how do you sit for meditation? Right? You can't sit and do meditation. So that's the reason why they invented all these things, to take care of their body and mind. So with regular practice of this proper exercise, proper breathing, proper relaxation, proper diet, positive thinking and meditation gives us perfect health and peace of mind. Right? So this is the small introduction about yoga. Yoga is your self-discipline. Okay. So coming onto the mat every day, it's not easy. Okay. What is yoga means, like how to deal with this mind. Okay. Whole yoga, the goal of yoga is how to deal with this mind. Okay. For that, we are working with the body, we are working with the breathing, because you cannot catch the mind, right? So what you can do is, you are working with your body and your breathing. Your breathing and mind are completely connected. So once you learn how to control, how to regulate your breathing, your mind will be under your control. So to bring balance between the body and the mind and the soul, to bring harmony, for strengthening these three is yoga. Clear? Yoga is your self-discipline. Yoga is to bring balance between the body, mind, soul of the practitioner. Clear till here? Clear why you have to do yoga? Okay. So you spend every day not 1 hour, at least 30 minutes on the yoga mat, little bit of surya namaskar and little bit of your breathing practice. That itself will work with your body and mind. That itself will bring the balance between your body and mind, because breath is the only connection between your body and mind. Once you learn how to regulate your breathing, then all these things will be balanced. So generally, the anger, the anxiety, all these are mind related issues, right? So you have to learn to slow down your breathing. There is no question of stress, anxiety, depression, whatever you say, all these things, mind related issues, you can prevent 101%. Once you learn to slow down your breathing, you can prevent all those things. For stress, there is no medicine. Clear? You have to learn to slow down your breathing. So, first thing, I'll teach you what is slow breathing, how to slow down your breathing. Okay? This pranayama, you would have heard. Prana means life energy, ayama means regulating. Okay, so it's a combination of two words, prana, ayama. Okay, so you have to regulate your breathing. You have to learn to slow down your breathing. There is no question of stress, anxiety, depression, anger, all your emotions under your control. So that is what pranayama will do for you. What is asanas do? Asanas will regulate your hormonal imbalance. Okay, they'll give you muscle length and strength. They'll keep your internal organs healthy. So spend that half an hour on the yoga mat every day. So that is your investment for your health. So you can prevent all this BP, sugar, cholesterol, whatever that medical terms have given. All those things you can prevent with the regular practice of yoga. Okay, so what Swamiji did, he compared this human body with the automobile, right? Automobile, how it works, what all it needs. It needs a lubrication, it needs a battery, it needs a radiator, right? It needs fuel. So with all these things, it doesn't work, right? It needs a good driver. Same thing, our human body also works like any other automobile. So when you do asanas, it works like a lubrication for your joints, ligaments. It helps to improve circulation. It makes your joints, everything strong. Okay, so that's how Swamiji has compared this physical body with with any other automobile. So when you do proper breathing in automobile, how battery works, right? Same thing. When you do pranayama, it works, it connects with the our battery. Where is the battery in the human body? So near the navel there is that in physical terms it is called solar plexus. Okay, that works like a battery in our body. So with this breathing practice you're tapping that potential energy. Okay, so that's how you can recharge your battery. The battery in the human body is called solar plexus. If you see these martial arts and all, they generally they'll tell them to, you know, if you punch here, generally they might faint. So this is the main center. This is the main energy center, which works like a battery. Near the navel, the solar plexus works like a battery. When you do this pranayama practice, that will get recharged. How battery works in automobile, pranayama works with the human body. Then proper relaxation we do with shavasana. I'll teach you what is shavasana. So in automobile, how radiator works, it cools your body and mind, right? Same thing, shavasana works with your body and mind. Only when your body and mind are completely relaxed, then there is no question of stress. Okay, so this is a natural way to how to relax your body. Shavasana, you're teaching your body how to relax. Okay, that is Shavasana, proper relaxation. How radiator works in automobile, proper relaxation works with the human body. Then proper diet. Why they say you have to be a vegetarian, right? So you are what you eat. Okay, so why vegetarian? In food chain, the first thing comes plants, because plants take direct sun energy, right? So sun energy is the main source for our life, right? So the energy in yogic terms is called prana. So there are four things which are keeping us alive. One is air, the other is water, then the next one is food, the fourth one is sunlight. So these are the four things which are keeping us alive. The energy which is coming, all these four things is in yogic terms is called prana, our life energy. Only because of that life energy we are alive, not because of oxygen. Remember. So when you do this slow, deep breathing, what happens? You get more energy. You can draw more energy from the air. So breath is just a medium to draw that energy. The energy moves through the breath. Okay. So in normal breathing, we get only very little energy. That's why end of the day, you are feeling that stress. So when you spend 5 minutes with this slow, deep, long breathing, you get more energy, which helps you to retain the energy for the rest of the day. So that helps to enhance your work. So that is how pranayama works. Then what is this positive thinking? You cannot force your mind to be positive, to be positive. No. Okay. The more you learn to slow down your breathing, naturally your mind will become positive. That's the reason why you have to do slow down your breathing, because your mind and your breath are completely connected. Your food and your breathing are completely connected. You just check. If anybody is doing pranayama, you just check. When you eat spicy food, when you eat non-vegetarian, next day, you cannot do this breathing practice properly. Your breath will actually won't be smooth. So when you eat a lot of sattvic food, when you eat fresh foods, generally your breathing will be more and more smooth. So that's why they emphasis more on vegetarian, because non-vegetarian takes long time for digestion. Okay. The first thing, like if you are into yoga, only food restriction. Anybody with breathing related issues, you try not to eat curd rice in the night. First thing, you stop that. After 6 o'clock, don't eat curd rice or buttermilk. That's the only food restriction for doing yoga. Okay, because it forms mucus. Every internal organ works at different timings. Okay, that's why they say eat breakfast well. That is the stomach timing. So 7 to 10 o'clock, you should eat more. That is the stomach timing. All the gastric juices will actually active more. By end of the day, 6 o'clock, like evening 6 o'clock, stomach actually work will reduce. No other animal eat after 6. We are the only one who eat after 6 till 12 o'clock and all we eat. You check in the nature, no other animal will eat. So yogis observed all these things from the nature. Even for breathing, how they learned. They saw tortoise life is 360 years, right? Tortoise life is more than 300 years. Yes or no? If you see the dog's life, only 15 years. Why is like that? Because dog will breathe very fast. In a minute, it takes 30 breaths, whereas tortoise takes 4 breaths in a minute. That's why the lifespan of tortoise is more compared to dog. So, what they observed, when you learn to slow down your breathing, you can expand your lifespan. So, all these things yogis discovered by looking at the nature. So, what they discovered, we are also miniature of the universe. Okay, everything, whatever is there outside, everything is there inside. All the five elements, all the gases, minerals, right? Outside 75% water, inside also 75% water. So what they have discovered, the God is also inside. So with all the practices, what the goal of yoga is, your connection with the ultimate. Okay, that is what is yoga. So it's not simply a physical exercise. It's a divine gift for us. You have to experience only by practicing every day. At least practice for 6 months. Definitely, you will see a lot of changes. Okay, so this is a introduction about yoga. Shall we do a practical session? Please, some of you switch on the camera. Everybody switch off the camera. It's like teaching a blind. I don't enjoy teaching like this. It's completely disrespect for a teacher if you switch off the camera. Please switch on the camera. So let me teach you how to slow down your breathing. A simple technique. You just lie down like this. So most of the time we are doing wrong breathing. Okay. So when I say inhale, your tummy might go inside. When I say exhale, it should come up. So this is a wrong breathing. So you're taking inhale, your tummy should come up like a balloon. With in breath, it should come up like a balloon. With out breath, it should go down. First, check your breathing. Lie down. You bend your knees. Take your palms on your tummy. Just check your breathing. With inhale, your tummy should come up like a balloon. With exhale, it should go down. Try this. At least 10 deep breaths. Inhale, raise your abdomen up like a balloon. With exhale, push your tummy down. So this is how you check your breathing. For some of you, it takes time. All these things you can't learn in one single class. Consciously, you have to practice. Suppose if your breathing is not happening, you take one thin book, okay? Thin book, place it on your tummy like this. How to practice this deep breathing? Place one book on the tummy. You have to lift the book with inhalation up. While exhaling, bring the book down. Practice this for 1 2 weeks. If you're doing wrong breathing, inhale, lift the book up, exhale, bring the book down. So once you learn correct breathing, your emotions also will be completely balanced. So why your tummy is coming up like this when you're inhaling? Because you're using your full lung capacity. You're using your diaphragm. Your diaphragm will be pushed down with deep inhalation. It will push all your abdominal organs more forward. That's why your abdomen is coming up like a balloon. Then it will expand your rib cage. So lungs will take more oxygen. With exhale, your diaphragm goes back to its original position. So maximum amount of carbon dioxide will be released. So this is the fundamental thing in yoga. Deep breathing. Use your full lung capacity, upper, middle, and lower portion of the lungs. With inhale, come up. With exhale, down. So practice this first every day, 5 minutes. Consciously learn to slow down your breathing by placing your book on the tummy. Lift the book up. Then slowly bring the book down. Again, up, down. You bend your knees and do this deep breathing practice. So, how to practice deep breathing? Like this. Okay, take your hands next to your thighs. Inhale, stretch your hands up. So, when your hands are going over your head, naturally you inhale. When they are coming down, exhale. Again, inhale. Just repeat like this 5, 6 times. Exhale down. Anybody with shoulder issues, it's a nice practice. Inhale, stretch your hands over your head. Exhale down. Yoga is completely your awareness. You cannot do this practice mechanically. Your connection with your body, with your awareness, you have to do every moment like this, hands up and down. Okay? Then to release the stiffness from your neck and shoulders. Most of you nowadays are complaining about these neck issues, right? So for that, you need to work with your shoulders to release the stiffness like this. Stretch your hands over your head with inhalation while coming down. Exhale and bring your palms down. Simple practice to release the stiffness. Anybody with frozen shoulder issues, just try like this. Hands over your head. You are rotating your shoulders into 360 degrees like this. Up, down. Practice 10 rounds one side, 10 rounds reverse. Up and down. Up, inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Now reverse, change the direction. We'll just try 5, 6 times. Reverse, reverse. Same thing, reverse. Hands over your head, exhale down. Reverse. Up and down. Up and down. Hands over your head, exhale down. Okay, now keep your palms next to your thighs. So most of you must be having this lower back issues. I'll teach you the simple asanas, how to take care of your back, how to make your back strong. Bend your knees, feet apart, knees apart. Take your hands over your head. Kick the right leg up like this. Your knee should be straight. Knees straight, knees straight. Bend your toes towards your knees. So asana, meaning of asana is hold comfortably for few seconds. Kalyani, check, a lot of disturbance is coming. Check your knees straight, okay? So when you're holding 15 to 30 seconds, as a beginner, take your hands over your head, just hold the leg like this so that it works like a traction for your back. Okay, just bend your toes. Your knee should be straight. If you're not able to bring 90 degrees, it's fine. 45 degrees, 30 degrees, also fine. But your focus should be keeping the knee straight. Clear? Like this. Those who are flexible, you bring the leg 90 degrees, hold for 15 to 30 seconds. I'm just teaching you how to take care of your back, how to make your back strong. Now bring the leg down. Again, kick your left leg up. Flex your toes. Keep the knee straight. Watch the stretch behind the left leg. An ounce of practice is better than tons of theory. That's what Swami Shivananda said. In yoga, theory doesn't work. Again, exhale down. Bring the left leg down. One more time. Stretch the right leg up. 60, 45, 90, 30, whichever angle you're comfortable. Keep the leg. Hold. What you have to do, you have to watch your breathing, you have to watch your body, observe where all it is working. It works with your hamstrings and your calves. Again, exhale down. Hands over your head and do this. Stretch the left leg up. This gives a nice traction for the back. Hold. You're repeating twice for strengthening. Now slowly bring the left leg down. Now, second practice, just watch here. First, bend your right knee. Press the right knee close to the chest. So anybody with knee issues, you don't place the palm on the shin. You just place the palm on the thigh and press the knee close to the chest. If you don't have any issues with the knees, you can place the palms on the right shin and bring the knee close to the chest. It should put little pressure on the abdomen so that it strengthens your back. If you want your lower back to be strong, do this simple exercise, simple asanas. Pavana Muktasana. This is called, it will release the stiffness from your knee joint. It makes your back strong. Please, anybody with knee issues, you hold the thigh. You're not straining the knee by holding the shin. If your knee is stiff, better hold your thigh like this. Hold. Breathe. Asana is meant to be held for some time. Now slowly bring the right leg down. Again, bend your left knee. Meditation just like that, it won't happen. Nobody has control over your mind. Like nobody taught us how to sleep, right? So that has come naturally. Meditation also happens naturally the more and more when you practice this physical exercise and breathing. Then slowly bring the left leg down. Again, bend your right knee, hug your right knee close to the chest. Hold for 15 seconds. Slowly bring the right leg down. Now bend your left knee. Exhale down. So turn your body to one side and come up to sitting position. Since all of you are doing with chair, I think, right? So let me teach you how to do in the chair. So how to practice deep breathing. You can also sit on the floor. Those who are doing with the chair, you can also try like this. So simple practice to work with neck and shoulders. Stretch your hands right in front of you like this. Palms in prayer position. Let me show you one round. Then you just watch. Palms together like this. Together, together, palms together. Inhale, stretch your hands wide apart. Slightly look up. Exhale, press your chin down. Anybody with neck issues, you look straight. If you don't have any issues with neck, press your chin down. Inhale, stretch your hands wide apart, look up. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Inhale, stretch your hands wide apart, look up. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Inhale, stretch your hands wide apart, look up, repeat. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Inhale, stretch, expand your rib cage, allow your lungs for deep breathing. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Simple practice, even though you are sitting in the chair, you can try. Inhale, stretch your hands wide apart, look up. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Inhale, stretch at least 10 times. Repeat, head back. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Inhale, stretch your hands wide apart, head back. Exhale, palms together, chin down. Drop your hands down. Hands down. Relax. Give some time for your shoulders and your neck to improve circulation. Clear? Now, just take your hands over your head. This you can do sitting position on the ground, or you can just stand up and Try this. Hands over your head. Lock your fingers. Stretch your palms up to the ceiling. Sitting, standing, anything is fine. Just stretch your hands. You have to lock your fingers. Lock your fingers. Turn the palms outside. Then stretch your palms to the ceiling. Up. Stretch. Palms to the ceiling. Suzanne, first lock your fingers. Palms outside. Then take your palms to the ceiling. Stretch. So you just don't need to do anything. Asana means holding comfortably at least for 15 to 30 seconds. Chin parallel to the ground. Just stay in that position. See how it works. Like other physical exercise, you don't need to do any violent movement here. Breathe and hold. Close your eyes. Increase your awareness. Observe your body. Yoga is your self discovery. Coming more and more closer to your body, to your mind, to your breath, and to your energies. Stay in that position. Breathe. Breathe. See how it works. Asana is meant to be held for some time. Look straight, breathe, hold, hold. Anybody with neck and shoulder issues, you must do this. 3 repetitions. Exhale down. Drop your hands down. One more time. Inhale, stretch your hands up, palms to the ceiling, stretch and hold. Again, 15 to 30 seconds. Breathe. Close your eyes. Watch your breathing. Exhale down. One last time. One last time. See, when you're holding, observe where all it is working. Again, stretch your hands up, hold. So the main difference between other physical exercise and yoga, here you gain your energy because every slow deep breathing will give you extra energy. It will recharge your battery. As I said, there is a battery near the navel, the solar plexus will get recharged. Hold. Exhale down. Drop your hands down. Now for the shoulders, stretch your hands like this. Fingertips on the shoulders, very slow. Coordinate with your breathing. When elbows are coming up, inhale. When they're coming down, exhale. Rotate your elbows clockwise 10 rounds, reverse 10 rounds. On 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8, on 9, on 10. Do reverse now. Reverse. On 1, on 2, on 3, slow. On 4, every movement is slow. Try to coordinate with your breathing. On 5, on 6, on 7, on 8, on 9, on 10. Exhale down. Relax. So after every practice, relax for few seconds. Then only you get the benefit of that practice. The neck and shoulders will improve circulation. Close your eyes. Watch your breathing. So watching your breathing. It's a nice concentration practice. Remember that. So let me teach you how to strengthen your neck and shoulders. Anybody with these 2 issues, just do this simple practice. Okay, just stretch your hands like this, palms facing to the front. Your palms are facing to the front. Okay, you just listen to my instruction. Turn the palms to the ceiling. Turn the palms. Stretch your elbows, shoulders more forward. Now turn the palms to the front. 1 minute we are doing this. Okay, don't drop your hands down. After that, just see how it works. It shows where all is the stiffness. You'll understand your body better once you start doing the asanas, where all is the stiffness, where all is the weakness in the body. Now turn the palms facing to the floor. I said only 1 minute we are doing this. Hold. Again, stretch your palms facing to the front. Hold. Again, stretch your palms facing to the ceiling. Now I'm teaching a lot of doctors, okay, in Chennai. Soumya Swaminathan, you know, right? She's the only Indian doctor who is representing WHO. I'm proudly say that she's my student. Breathe. Breathe. Again, stretch your palms to the front. Hold. Abdul Kalam met Swami Shivananda. He went for pilot test to Rishikesh. He couldn't select. Wait. Let me uh, tell you the story. Wait. Again, turn the palms to the floor. Hold. I said 1 minute. One last round to go. So he couldn't select for his pilot training. So he was feeling very sad. So that's when, like he met Swami Shivananda. After meeting Swami Shivananda, his life has changed completely. You just Google Swami Abdul Kalam, the meeting with Swami Shivananda. His words exactly what Swamiji said. You just Google, you will know. So Abdul Kalam life has changed after meeting Swami Shivananda. Even Puttapati Sai Baba stayed with Swami Shivananda for some time. Again, stretch your palms to the front. Last time, breathe. Don't give up. Don't give up. Asanas will increase your willpower. They show your potential. Breathe. Last time, stretch your palms to the ceiling. So do this regularly. Simple practice to take care of your neck and shoulders because most of the time we are bending our neck to watch the phone, right? So quite common, this neck issues. Exhale down. How is it? Relax, relax. While doing, you feel very painful, but once you come out of the posture, all those stretched areas will improve circulation. Okay, so nobody knows the power of asana. That's what Swamiji said. It's a very, very powerful practice. Asanas takes care of your physical level. Breathing takes care of your mind. That's how this works with every level, physically, mentally, emotionally. Then it leads to spiritual level. So that is what is yoga. Okay. Now, one more simple practice. I'm just focusing on the basic these things, neck, shoulder issues. So you just stretch your hands. This also you can do in sitting position. Stretch, take the right palm between the shoulder blades. You stretch the left palm. So if you're flexible, you can hold your hands directly like this. Okay. So if it is not coming, generally what I do, I'll tell them to take one towel. I'll get one towel. Simple practice to release the stiffness from neck and shoulders. Okay, take one towel on the shoulder, stretch your hands, hold the towel. See, it's not your perfection. Yoga is not the perfection. What you see in the pictures, they'll touch their toes, they bring the toes to the head. So don't worry, that is not. That is what you have to do. That is not the perfection in the posture. However, you do, you get the benefit of the asana. Okay. So, how to release the stiffness from the neck and shoulders? Put one towel here, stretch your hands, and bring your hands closer. Okay. Don't cross your limit. Check how much ever you can hold. Just hold like this. For 30 seconds, you hold. Keep your head straight. Look straight. Hold 15 to 30 seconds. Breathe. Change. Stretch your hands up. Stretch. chain the towel on the left shoulder. Those who are not able to bring the palms together, that's when you have to use this prop, use the towel. Then take the left hand up, right hand from behind, hold the towel. With towel support, try how much ever you can bring your hands closer. So you have to hold for some time. That is what is the meaning of asana. Hold to prevent from neck, shoulder issues. Even this makes your wrist also very, very strong. Keep the towel, Vandana, keep the towel on the shoulder first like this, okay? Then take the whichever side you are keeping the towel, that hand should go up first. Then take the other hand from behind and hold your hands. Yeah, back straight. Keep your back straight. So like this, you have to repeat at least 3 times. Morning 2, 3 times, evening 2, 3 times. Repeat, hold every time, 30 seconds at least, so that you can prevent all these neck and shoulder issues. This is called Gomukhasana. You're doing sitting Gomukhasana. Yeah. Now stretch your hands up, stretch, exhale down, drop your hands down. So sitting in the chair, you have to do a simple twist, which takes care of your entire spine. Okay. So most of the aches and pains, if you see neck pain, lower back pain, all these things are related to the spine. So in yoga, what it says, only a flexible spine can give us a health, good health, long life. That's why all the asanas are based on the spine movement. So one movement is this one, stretching your hands over your head. Okay. The other movement is twisting your spine. Watch here. You sit end of the chair like this. I'll show you all variations. Sitting in the chair, sitting down also. So those who are doing on the chair, watch here. Sit like this. You stretch your hands up. Simple twist. Hold your left knee with your right hand. Take the left hand behind your back. You just twist each and every vertebrae to the left side. So you bring both shoulders into one straight line. You're holding the left knee with your right hand. Be gentle and twist. Watch your breathing. Hold for 15 seconds. Again, stretch your hands up, stretch, exhale. Catch hold of your right knee with your left hand. Take the right hand to hold the chair and twist. Sitting in the chair, what all you can do, I'm just teaching. Twist. So before you start your work, you can try all these things. One more time. Stretch your hands up, stretch, exhale, twist your spine to the left side. Hold the left knee with your right hand and twist each and every vertebrae to the left side. Back straight. Inhale, stretch your hands up. Exhale, twist your spine to the right side. So this simple twist will help you to release the stiffness from neck to lower back. So this is one movement with the spine. So there are only 5 movements possible with the spine. That's how all the asanas are based on the 5 movements of the spine. So this is one movement. The other movement is twisting your spine. Then the next is bending your spine side to side. Like this. Stretch your hands, catch hold of your chair and bend your spine to the, or you just place the palm like this. Bend your spine to the right side. Look up. Hold just for 15 seconds. Breathe. Elbow straight. Don't bend the elbow. Again, stretch your hands. Stretch. Place your palm on the thigh and bend your spine to the other side. Breathe. One more time. Inhale, stretch your hands. Bend your spine to the right side. Just repeat twice or thrice. You're working with the sides. Bend some more. Look up. Again, stretch your hands. Stretch. Exhale. Bend your spine to the left side. Inhale and come up. Drop your hands down. So one simple asana to take care of your whole back. Suppose this is a chair, right? You can use dining table chair at home or any chair like this. Place your wrist on the chair and stretch your spine like this. How to prevent from lower back issues every day? If you start your, even you can use kitchen platform or any table, okay, which has this 2.5 feet height, like this. Place your palms, feet shoulder width apart, extend your spine here. Excellent asana to make your back strong. Here, you're increasing the length of your spine. Keep your neck soft, forehead parallel to the ground. Stay like this 1-2 minutes. That's fine. Maximum you can hold up to 5 minutes. Create more space in the vertebrae. Try not to bend the neck. Keep your neck soft and breathe. This one asana, keep in touch to make your back strong. Breathe. You have to keep your feet shoulder width apart, knees straight. While coming up, slowly come forward. Okay, using the chair, you can do this back strengthening asana. Okay, clear? Yeah. So this is all about yoga. Then meditation. Okay, meditation, just like that, it won't happen. The more and more when you practice asanas and pranayama, so it will happen naturally. So what is meditation? Why you have to do meditation? Okay, why yogis did meditation? Because for that spiritual knowledge, they wanted to unite their body with the God and all. That's a deep meaning. I'm not going to so detailed thing. So what you have to do, you have to follow some basic rules, how to sit and how to do meditation. I'll tell you how to meditate. Okay, first thing, you have to choose, you want to note down, it's up to you. You have to choose same place and same time. Okay, that helps your mind to condition. Okay, same place and same time. Okay, every day take one corner. If you have a separate room, that's the best thing. If you don't have a room in your house, just take one corner. Okay, every day choose one timing. What are the best timings for meditation is sun rising and sun setting, because in those two timings the spiritual energy will be more. Okay, so choose those timings and sit in a comfortable position. You don't need to sit in Padmasana. Okay, sit any comfortable position. Those who can do Padmasana, that's the best position, but you don't force. Simple cross leg position. Okay, always use one mat, either duri or something. Never sit on the floor. Choose one corner, same time, same place. Okay, and don't sit on the floor, because the mat works like an insulator between your body and the floor. If you sit directly on the floor, all your energy goes on the floor. Even for doing your practice, yoga practice, pranayama practice, meditation practice, always sit on the mat. Okay, same place, same time. uh, Best timings are sun rising and sun setting. They say the Brahma Muhurta, 4 to 6, that's the ideal time. The moment you get up, sit for meditation. People think meditation means you have to control your thoughts. No. As long as you're breathing, thoughts keep coming. Okay, only when breath stops, thoughts will stop. So, what you have to do initially, you have to command your mind. Okay, 5 minutes, I'm going to sit for meditation. Okay, what you have to do, you have to bring your mind. If you are intellect person, like you have to bring the mind between the eyebrows. If you are emotional person, if you are a sensitive person, you fix the mind in the heart. So you choose the focal point, never change this focal point, either between the eyebrows or close to the heart. These are the focal points. You are not changing your sitting position, you are not changing the focal points. Okay, then you sit in a comfortable position. Keep your hands in chin mudra. Don't spread your fingers because all the energy goes out. Chin mudra means this thumb and index fingers touching each other. So, this is the ideal position to sit for your meditation. Okay, you cannot sit like this. Never. Always keep your spine erect. Look straight. When you sit like this, your energy will get blocked. What happens when your mind is occupied with too many thoughts? What happens? It will obstruct the cosmic energy. It won't allow the energy not to flow. That's why they say calm your mind, calm your mind. When mind is calm, lot of cosmic energy flows into the body. That's how healing process appears. Okay, on physical level, these doctors are given so many names, but yogis did meditation to work with the energy body. They have discovered two more bodies inside this physical body. This is all their experience. Okay, so when you do meditation, when you calm your mind, what happens? More cosmic energy flows into this body. So that helps to clear the blocks in the energy body. All the blocks in the energy body appears as aches and pains. Slowly they appear as diseases. So advantage of meditation is you can clear the blocks on the energy body. That will allow more cosmic energy. So initially you sit for 5 minutes. What you do, you keep your favorite deity picture right in front of you. Keep looking at that picture. Okay, completely observe that picture. Then close your eyes, then visualize that picture. That's how you start with 5 minutes. Okay, then you can increase your time up to 20 minutes. That's the ideal. To sit for 20 minutes is ideal, but it won't happen from day one. Okay, I do my meditation every day. The moment I get up, I see every day it's not the same. The days when I eat spicy food, when I eat ice cream, cold things, next day it shows. I can't sit for meditation, especially when I eat biryani and all. I can't. Like mind is so restless, so restless. Then I realized your diet plays major role. Okay, the more I eat like vegetarian food and all, next day like I'm actually really enjoying the meditation. So it's not controlling your thoughts. Okay, you have to observe your thoughts. You have to keep distance from your thoughts. So that is what is meditation. Okay, you have to observe them, then you have to keep distance from them. The more and more when you start observing your thoughts, slowly thoughts will slow down. Okay, it takes time. You have to give the time, at least 3 months to 6 months. Don't expect anything. Just sit and watch your thoughts. They wander. Okay, let it. Initially, the more you start observing, the more they keep coming. You go crazy actually. You'll be surprised from where these thoughts are coming. So initially it happens. Don't give up. Just sit and watch them. So what happens when you start observing your thoughts? The clarity, the thinking capacity will increase when you observe your thoughts. So much clarity comes to your thinking. So when you're taking a decision, you'll be very clear to say yes or no. There's no confusion. That is one thing. First thing happens with meditation. Okay. Then you don't react to the things. Whatever comes, you deal in a different way. You hear any serious news, like whatever situation you come across, you don't react. You'll be in the peak traffic, you'll be very relaxed. Okay, So that is what meditation will help you, not to react for the things. Okay, it will improve your thinking capacity. It will bring lot of clarity for your thinking. Okay, sit and watch. Every day, start with 5 minutes. How to train this mind to watch the breath. Initially, first watch the deity picture, then slowly you use one mantra. Mantra is nothing but a sound vibration. You take any mantra, there is a universal mantra called Om. Okay, when you are chanting Om mentally, what happens? It creates a vibration. Or you can take any mantra, like, which has some divine meaning. So stick to one mantra. Don't change the mantra every day. Okay. So what you have to do, inhale that mantra, exhale. Again, inhale that mantra, exhale. So that you're training the mind to watch the breath. It goes here and there. Sometimes you sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it didn't even watch one single breath. It's okay. Okay, so try and watch your breath and keep distance from your thoughts. So this is the technique. There are different techniques. This is the technique generally I do my meditation every day. This is what I learned from my teacher. So there are different ways how you connect. Like some people by doing yoga, by doing this physical exercises, you can connect with the God. Some people can do connect with the God by doing karma yoga, by doing selfless service. There are different ways how you connect with the ultimate God. That's what is the goal of yoga. Then some people by reading scriptures, they have a connection with the God. Then some people by doing the selfless service, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga. So what is raja yoga? What is this asanas and all? By doing asanas and breathing, your connection with the ultimate, the self, the God, all these names are similar. So I'll refer you one book if you are interested in meditation. It's a very nice book called Meditation Mantra by Swami Vishnu Devananda. So all the instruction, whatever I have given, that will be there. You read that book and just start doing meditation. Okay, so I'll just show you that book. Sorry, it's here only. I'm searching everywhere. Yeah. So this is the book for meditation and mantra. Can you see this? Swami Vishnu Devananda. It's a beautiful book to learn
Not
about
very big, ma'am.
meditation. Sorry, you can't see this?
No, ma'am. A little more
Yeah.
towards your left. Yes, ma'am.
Meditation Mantra by Swami Vishnu Devananda. Okay. Yeah, I'm just referring this book. It's a nice book. What mantras you can use, it's there in the book. You can choose. And just to show you the anatomy of the asanas, very interesting. Like, if you know the anatomy, like suppose just stand straight. So if you learn how to stand correctly, how it works. Can you see this? So the blue color and red color shows the stretching and strengthening of the muscles. So suppose if you are doing Surya Namaskar, so many muscles are involved here. Can you see this? The stretching and strengthening, the red color is the stretching, the blue color is the strengthening. So systematically inside it works like this. The anatomy of the asanas. This author is Key Muscles of Yoga, Dr. Ray Long. He is a orthopedic surgeon who has been practicing yoga from last 30 years. That's how, he is able to do this anatomy pictures and all. So just for your information I'm showing when you're doing the asanas, how it works on physical level, with exactly which muscles are working. When you know the anatomy of the picture, like when you're doing, you can visualize like exactly where all it is working. Clear?
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the introduction about yoga and meditation. I hope I gave some information about this subject. Okay. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Yeah.
Also, ma'am.
Yeah. So keep in touch. You must learn yoga through a teacher. Don't do yoga by watching TV, by watching books. Never. It doesn't work. Always learn yoga from a proper teacher. Okay. So that's my advice. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you, Kalyani. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. It's indeed an excellent experience of doing yoga practically.
Thank you.
Ma'am spoke about importance of yoga and meditation in day-to-day life. And remembering her Guru Swami Shivananda, she explained the 5 basic principles in yoga. That is proper exercise through asanas, proper breathing, that is pranayama, proper relaxation, proper diet, and proper thinking and positive thinking and meditation.
I'm ready to take any questions. Like if they have any questions, I'm ready to take. Just check with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. Participants, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat box.
Or they can unmute and they can ask me. It's fine.
Yes. Anybody?
Yeah, good morning, madam.
Good morning. Yeah.
This is Ramna Reddy. Madam, regarding, you told me regarding BP, sugar and other things, that how we can overcome through this, and what are the asanas, especially to reduce the BP as well as sugars and all these the chronic diseases that we have to overcome through this yoga. So can you give some tips regarding this?
Yeah, I showed you the sequence, right?
Yes.
So blood pressure is what? Like when you're stressed out, your pressure will increase, right? So you have to learn to relax, to bring your BP down. Okay. First thing, you have to take care of your diet. Okay. Reduce the salt. If your pressure is too high, I'm not telling you to stop the salt, reduce the salt. Then you have to do walking. Then you have to do pranayama. Then you have to do meditation. Okay. So if you have these issues, means you have to do this sequence. It's a beautiful sequence. What I taught you.
Yes, madam.
You're not supposed to do headstand during high BP because that will increase the pressure. That's why I'm telling you to learn yoga from a good yoga teacher. Don't do by watching TV or reading books. Okay. So definitely you have to do at least 6 months to 1 year to see the result. I've seen practically many of my students could initially they reduce the dosage. Okay, though they have high BP and sugar, slowly they actually stop the medicine. So all this, if you don't have all these things, you can prevent with regular practice.
Okay.
I've been practicing almost like now it's my 25th year. Okay. I'm in touch with this practice. Touch wood, I don't have all these things. So I can practically say that we can prevent all these things. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions?
Ma'am, I have a question from my side.
Yeah, tell me.
Does pranayama help to reduce allergic cough and other things?
Allergy, you have to first check with your food. Some foods actually gives you allergy. So you have to note down which one is causing. Cold cough, generally you can prevent with regular practice of Kapalbhati, pranayama, especially Surya Namaskar, because Surya Namaskar creates a lot of heat. Okay, because of now this pandemic, what it showed, like we have to take care of the lungs, right? So when you practice regularly Surya Namaskar and all, you can prevent all this cold, cough, all breathing related, because Surya Namaskar completely takes care of your respiratory system. To prevent from, at least from this corona and all, my advice is keep in touch with Surya Namaskar at least. Yeah.
Any more questions, please?
Dr. Ashish Jaswal, thank you. Yeah.
Yes,
Please go through about Swami Shivananda. You'll be more impressed. Why a medical doctor into this? There's no guru as qualified as Swami Shivananda. So just check, Google. You'll get a lot of information about Swamiji. He wrote almost like 300 books about yoga, meditation, Ayurveda. Being a medical doctor, he wrote a lot of books on Ayurveda also. Please check. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now we'll have break for 10 minutes, and we'll please all of you join back around 11:40 for the next session by Dr. Chetan Srivastava, sir.